Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 10 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thanks so much for joining me here again. On this episode, I'm at episode 10, double figures, yay! It's a long time before I get to triple figures, so I'm just going to have a little punch in the air moment here, reaching double figures. So thanks, like I said, for joining me again on this episode. Last week, we talked all about list building, so it's really something I'm passionate about. I think small business owners should be all concentrating on their list building. So I just thought that maybe this week I might dive just that little bit deeper and talk about how we can actually get our emails opened and how we can get them read, because just having a list all by itself really isn't worth a cent inside our business unless we can use it wisely and get our readers to open our emails and to actually read the emails. So maybe if you missed episode 9, head back over there and have a listen to episode 9 as well, all about list building. I've got 14 really great tips and tricks for you today on how you can get your emails opened and how you can get them read. But of course, we need to start off with our discovery of the week. So guys, have you ever wanted to record something on your phone screen? Like record a short video, whether it be a tutorial for someone or a short video to show your mum or your dad or your cousin on how to do something? Well, this is what this week's discovery is all about. It's recording your screen on your mobile phone. The app that I use is called TechSmith Capture. So TechSmith, as in Tech Smith, and then Capture, CAPTURE, TechSmith Capture. That's really hard to say really fast. Anyway, that's the app that I use on my phone. I am a little bit biased when it comes to TechSmith products though, because I use TechSmith products inside my business to record my podcast, and I record my computer screen and do lots of other little techie jobs with it. But the TechSmith Capture app is actually free. It's free wherever you would normally get an iOS or an Android app from. And this means that you can just download it and start recording your screen. There is a mute button, so you can have noise or you can have no noise, which means you can either have a voiceover or you can cut out all the background noise as well. It has lots of uses inside your business. Maybe you want to do a screen recording and turn it into a video for an Instagram story or a Facebook story, or just a video on your social media platforms. You can put it in a text message or, an email from your phone. Basically anywhere or any reason why you think I'd like to record my phone screen, then this is the absolute perfect app. Maybe you have someone in your family or your friendship group or even a client that's not so tech savvy, and this would be absolute gold for them. People love learning from watching. And let's face it, some things are really hard to explain with words, but so easy if they can just watch what you're talking about. So maybe go and download TechSmith Capture and have a bit of a play. Maybe you could even record yourself listening to this podcast. That would be pretty awesome. That'd be super cool if you did that and then tagged me on social media. I would love that. But anyway, TechSmith Capture is really cool. I know there's probably 1,000 apps out there that can do the same job, but this is the one I use, and this is this week's discovery of the week. Of course, guys, I have no affiliation with any of these little discoveries. I just use them in my business. I like them. They make my life just that little bit simpler, and I do, cross my heart, promise to ever tell you whether or not I'm recommending a product that I am actually affiliated with. The link to TechSmith Capture is in the show notes if you want to head over to socialmediaandmarketing.com.au and download the show notes and get the link from there. So let's get into this week's episode. 14 tips and tricks to get your emails not only opened but read, because If you've been doing email marketing, you've been here. You've spent all this time and energy carefully crafting an email. You've labored over the paragraphs. You've spent sometimes hours on the subject line because we know how important that subject line is. And then it's done. So you press send and you have a bit of a sigh of relief. Tick, that job is done. But of course, then we go back and have a look at our email stats and we notice that the opens just aren't as good as we'd hoped for, or the click-throughs are just that little bit disappointing. And given all the time and effort and energy we've put into it, we're just a little bit disappointed. So I guess the question is, what went wrong and how do we actually fix it? How do we get people to read our content-rich emails that we're sending out? How do we get a list that's eagerly waiting for our emails to arrive? Whether you email out weekly or fortnightly or whatever that looks like in your business. So, of course, the first critical step is the tone of your emails. If you can do one thing, you need to look at the tone of your emails. If you want your emails to get read, then you need to start writing as though you're writing to a friend, because everyone loves to hear from a friend, right? No one likes to be sold to. No one wants to hear a sales message. So these people on your email list, you need to get to know them. You need to know what keeps them up at night. You need to know their struggles, what makes them tick, and how you can help them reach whatever their goal is in their business or in their life or whatever that looks like. You need to get to know your audience. When drafting an email to go out, it's really crucial that you're talking to one person, just that one person intimately. So that's why it's so important to get to know your audience. Just remember that the person you're writing to is connected to you for a reason. So treat them like a friend, treat them like they're valued, and speak to them in that way as well. So let's get on with 14 tips and tricks to get your emails opened and read. 14 kick butt tips, if I do say so myself. The first one is, only email when you can add value. Be helpful. Be generous. If you continuously send emails with no value, just with sales messages in them time after time, you'll burn your list really quickly. So make sure that you only ever email out your list when you can add value to them. There's a fine line between a welcome guest and an annoying pest. So my second tip is actually have your name in the address that it comes from. Don't have one that says admin at or info at. Get personal with it. Put your name to it. This is your brand. This is who you are. It's so important to be building a relationship with you. And of course, you can't build a relationship with an admin at or an info at. Maybe you need I've got Jen at jendonovan.com.au. And if you're not sure, email yourself. Just send yourself an email and see what comes up inside your emails as to who it's from. It's really important that we get personal with our emails and that people start to recognize our name as part of the business. Of course, that leads me to point number 3, which is all about personalization in emails. People love their own name, so use it in your emails. Get personal with people and write to Dear John, or say great job, John, inside the email. Use their name inside emails. Just watch that you don't use it too often, because sometimes if you use it often, it's just creepy. It's no longer personal. Tip number 4 is rewarding people for taking time to read your email. Maybe put an offer inside the email. Maybe offer some awesome value or simply inspire them. If you want to test how much of your emails are being read, try slipping a little special bonus in the copy towards the bottom. And this can be a really great indicator of how closely your content is being read. Tip number 5. Now, this one is my favorite. I think it's the most critical to email success. And it is, of course, the headline. Your headline needs to be awesome. If you have a crap headline in an email, it's just not going to get opened. So be really specific in your headlines. Let them know what they're going to learn by opening the email, or how you're going to make them happier or more informed or better at business. Whatever that looks like in your email, make sure that it's a headline that has them wanting to click the open button. Tip number 6 is all about breaking it up. Breaking it up to grab their attention. Don't just use words. Maybe slip a few numbers in there, a few bullet points, something that will make it eye-catching. So that leaves me to tip number 7, which is don't try to be too cute. Quit the cleverness. Simple, specific subject lines beat clever alternatives every single time. Tip number 8 is marketing, we know, is a test and measure activity. Your emails are absolutely no different. So try doing some experimenting with them. Maybe use some emojis in your headlines. Just like I was saying with numbers before, they could be a really great way to stop the scroll. That's what it's all about sometimes in people's full inboxes. We've got to stop the scroll. Do something that looks different, that makes them stop and think, oh, what's this email? I need to read this. Tip number 9, and this is probably my second favorite one. Learn from the masters. Find people who are really great at doing email marketing and watch them carefully. Watch what their subject lines are. When you are looking in your own inbox, think about what subject lines catch your attention. You are guaranteed to learn something if you follow the masters. So tip number 10, when it comes to email marketing, less is more. Try and keep it short. Long and unwieldy emails kill interest. We're all busy and none of us have time to read an email that just goes on and on and on. Set yourself a bit of a challenge to be the most concise and the most impactful that you can be. Tip number 11, don't be afraid to mix up your greetings. Try things that are just a little bit different, like try hi or hey or happy Monday or hey Sam or dear awesome small business owner or whoever your target market is or greetings from sunny Melbourne. Mix it up a little bit. Try to sound less robotic and more personal. Think again about your brand's voice, which brings me to point number 12, developing a brand and a brand voice. Consider your emails to be a way of talking to your customers or your readers or, of course, your newfound friends. Be consistent in the tone and the topics that you cover and avoid wandering off brand. Tip number 13, add personality. Use proprietary language, words and expressions that only you use or that are really your sort of proprietary language. Your audience would know, oh yes, that's them speaking because I often hear them talking in that language, in that proprietary way. It makes up a big part of your brand voice. But remember to be human and don't drown people in confusing acronyms. Make sure you're speaking in the language of your buyer, not in your language. Talk in the language of your buyer. And our last one, tip number 14, is to write short, strong sentences. Be to the point and remember the rules that you were taught in English at school. Now, I hope that helps you. All the notes, of course, for all 14 tips are in the show notes. You can get them by going to socialmediamarketing.com.au. Plus, I have a little freebie for you this week as well. It's a really awesome pre-email campaign checklist. It's a practical guide to making sure that all is A-OK before you send it. And I've got it as a downloadable for you. There's literally 50 tips and tricks on there on how to get your next email campaign not only ready and set and out, but also opened and read and, of course, responded to so you can start a conversation with your ideal clients that are on your email list. To get this priceless little download, just go to socialmediamarketing.com.au/email. There's really the hard truth about email marketing is that everybody's inbox is overflowing. Nobody is desperate to receive more emails. So you should be really honored that someone's actually opted into your list and they're happy to receive messages from you. Each subscriber has actually given you a hard-earned vote of confidence. So treat it like that. Be super careful with it. You never take anyone's attention for granted because everyone's time is precious, just like our time is precious as small business owners. So week in, week out, you do have to prove your value to your email subscribers. Know your readers so well that you can empathize with their struggles, you can ask them questions, they can ask you questions, and you can offer help. Right as you're emailing one good friend, because that's how people get to know you, they get to like you, and trust you. And when you've earned those three things, the know, like, and trust factor, then you've actually earned the ability to send out sales messages to them and start growing your business through your email list. So guys, that's a bit of a wrap for episode 10 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. I hope these 14 tips and tricks on how to get your emails opened and read have inspired you to talk to your list just that little bit more, or perhaps talk to your list even better. Don't forget about the kick-ass checklist as well. You can go to socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/email. Of course, I'll be back next Thursday with some more marketing know-how and another great discovery. But in the meantime, let's get social on social. All my links are in my show notes or on my website, or simply drop me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Small Business Made Simple, and I would super love to hear from you in my DM box. A massive shout out to everyone who's left me a rating or review for this show. You people are serious givers, and I hope it comes back to you tenfold. Ratings and reviews are like gold for podcasters like me. So if you've got 30 seconds, I would love you to leave one. You can help others find this podcast and enjoy the free training, the tips and the tricks too. That would be awesome. It could be the best gift that you actually give someone. I'm really grateful to have you in my world, guys, for listening in, and I will catch you next week. I hope you'll tag me in your capture videos of you listening into this podcast. I can't wait to see them on social media. But remember, my small business peeps, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.